We are airborne. Welcome
Here
to
we
the
are,
news review segment.
back again. Ms. Lavender.
Oh, here we go again.
Lilac.
I'm going to tell you about the color I'm wearing. Yes, let's get into it.
But you should know the color you're wearing.
What color is it?
Lavender. But someone would say lilac as well. But I think lavender.
Light purple, a shade of purple.
You know, all of those shades have their own. That's why we have purple, we have violet, we have lavender, and all those.
Ghana is hard though. I'm thinking about.
You see, these are things that will distract you. So you heard the finance minister during the business updates. He says the economy is back on track and everything. Of course, we're getting trade surpluses now, about $1.9 billion. I hope it's trickling into your pocket.
Your pocket?
No, I'm asking about you.
Let's be mischievous. I don't even have a pocket.
Or is it trickling into your shoes? Your beige-colored shoes.
Let's get into the news stories, Benjamin, because
Anyway, let's get into those and our guests this morning, as always. Our usual victim, in quotation marks, our very own Dr. Asah Asante, my former lecturer from way back. He is a political scientist and head of the Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana. Doc, Nemawache Napome.
Yaura, good morning to you, Ben, and good morning to you, CT, and our viewers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Sweetie.
Yeah.
Doc, so let's get straight into your thoughts then. You have about 2 minutes to walk us through that.
Right. I would take my, statement from the motto of my hall, the Commonwealth Hall. Truth stands, all right? And I'm going to look at it vis-a-vis this organized labor strike and how it dovetails into the type of conversation we are seeing. In politics, there is what we call reward and punishment. And that whatever decision you take today, you are rewarded for it or punished for it. There is no two ways about it. And that in politics, one thing is also clear. There is always the point where the reality will dawn on you. Why am I saying all these things? When this Galamsey menace, continue to the level that people decided to talk about it, Ghana Medical Association was quick to give us what they deem fit. And for me, that was a good decision they took by demanding a number of things from the government. And we saw that. We applauded them. Only for them to chicken out at the 11th hour. It is not surprising to me because in politics, things happen and people take decisions, and when you need them most, they chicken out. It's normal. But it also brings to the sharp focus what we see in politics about the hypocrisy in Ghanaian politics, and the politics of double standards is always there. And so as a student of politics, I'm not worried about it, but that there is always the truth that we have in politics that will definitely dawn on everybody. The problem we have in Ghanaian politics is that we are not able to speak truth to power when the time is needed for people to show that. You see them checking out. But the little that I've learned about, civil society activities, including the role of Ghana Medical Association, which started way back in the 70s, Association of Registered Professional Bodies. They were fantastic, very, in Ghanaian politics. And the good news is what I am, hearing from the likes of Dr. Nene Abayate and others within the association who believe that no, the decision of the association to chicken out of this all-important exercise at the 11th hour is not on.
Okay.
I salute those who think alike along the lines of Dr. Abayate and all that. And I must say that there are fine gentlemen in there who believe that what is happening is wrong and that we need to speak truth to power. It's not the case that they are playing any politics, but they've seen it in their, consulting rooms. They've seen it in their laboratories and all that, and they believe that this is the way to go. I salute them. and I want them to continue from that trajectory. But I believe that the rest of organized labor will do the needful and then send this message to the government that enough is enough. We cannot stay in this country where rules are not enforced and that we are running back towards state of nature. Nobody will accept that. Government
so, Doc, you think it's a political play? That's the GMA is out and some teacher
I'm
unions
not saying that.
Okay.
I'm not saying that. But that decision to chicken out at the 11th hour is what I am attacking.
Okay.
But I know it is not a decision of all of them. But of course, once it's coming from the association. So I like the people like Dr. Bayate and those who are thinking along the same lines, that they believe that that decision was not on. And I respect that. But look, in activism and then civil society activities, you should expect some of these deviations. It's normal. But I like the spirit of organized labor, that they are moving forward, taking this matter to a notch further, and I salute them. That's all.
I'd just like to find out about this from you, because it could have a crippling effect on many sectors of our national life if there's a wholesale industrial action like this. But for the principle, I support. However, how do you feel? Maybe this is the only way we can get our leaders to act. Maybe this is the only way for organized labor to lay down their tools, though I also know that there will be consequences of same. But maybe this is the only way. But interestingly, you mentioned Dr. Bayate. He's calling for the Ghana Medical Association's president to be removed. Okay, that is one. And then you have TUTAG. Since you're a lecturer, I wanted to run this by you. A member of TUTAG has been saying that, listen, there was not enough consultation done. Dr. Solomon Foko expressing that he does not understand the rationale behind the industrial action. And some others have come against him saying, this is not the way to go and you are out of line. As an academic, as a member of UTAG, what usually is the process? And do you think this gentleman is wrong in his positioning? Just those big ones.
This discussion has been in the air. The mother body has issued a statement to support this process. So everybody is not new to this issue. Is he oblivious of the fact that the water, quality has changed? And does he want to know now? Or is it the time that they have to tell him? The reality will dawn on him if he continues to deceive himself into believing that he needs a certain tutorial and a certain level of conversation before he takes a decision. The reality will dawn on all of us that a day will come, if we are not careful, all of us will be patients at the hospital dealing with one problem or not. But you see, in a society worth its salt, you don't sit down for decision to get to that apogee, the highest level, and it creates problems for all of us. You need to act and add fact. Move yourself within the framework of the law, but make sure that you tell those who hold political power to act and act very fast. That is not a crime. He is entitled to his opinion, but the mother body itself, you've seen the voting patterns in the association. It tells you that they will not support this. They will continue from where others are stopping. That's it.
Okay, let's get
Sweetie,
into the
if you look at the water situation, we've been seeing pictures of the Wager area and how even getting into the waterworks is beginning to turn brown. I mean, I have seen images of that. If that turns out to be true,
And Ben, just a quick one. Sometimes people think that, they are capable of importing water and then drinking, using that, to replace all that they have and drink it at home and all that. Ask yourself, the one you use for what? Your kitchen,
cooking, washing,
the one you use to bath, and the rest of them, where do you get them? They should go and talk to the scientists. Once your body get contact with that contaminated water, the effect is enormous. What are they talking about? Hypocrisy in Ghanaian politics. This must cease.
Even away or before you get to the scientists to understand the gravity of the situation, the people in Ashaman and other places where they don't have potable water, who have to buy water, the way they struggle, they have to buy water in tanks every week or so. You have to buy water, you have to manage water. It's not an easy life. Anyway, let's get into
and my fears? My fears is that if this thing get to voter, a time gets, there will be a time that if we are not careful, we are not going to get water running through Akosomo Dam. It will be mad. And that, for me, my worry. biggest worry. I'm not a scientist, natural scientist, but I'm looking at it from a point of view of political science and, in terms of what the eco-politics. And that is something that we have to be careful about.
Okay. If we get there, we'll generate the electricity from mud. Maybe by that time, science would have developed to the point where, I mean, it's obvious we want to get there. So let's go through here.
Right. So on the daily graphic, Zoomlion Nigeria secures 40 million euros waste management deal. Election not religious contest, GPCC says to political parties. Independent media regulation vital for clean election. Ashanti Bauxite Limited unveils mine refinery plans. Let's start from this story about election not religious contest. The Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council has admonished political parties not to make this year's general election a religious contest. It said it had observed with grave concern recent religious and sectarian campaign messages being advocated and promoted on political party platforms and at religious gatherings. And a statement by the National Executive Council of the GPCC made available to Daily Graphic said it was a fact that for the first time in the checkered history of the country, the two most popular political parties in the 2024 general election, that is the NDC and the MPP, would be featuring presidential candidates from the Christian and the Muslim faith, respectively. I want to quickly do two more stories before I come to you. In Kenya, MPs are set to vote on Deputy President's impeachment. It's corruption related. He will be delivering a statement before the voting begins, and then after, they'll decide whether or not he gets to stay in office.
I thought that vote had been held already.
No, it hasn't. It's happening today or tomorrow. I can check.
Well, I read a story about it being
it hasn't happened yet.
held. So, but anyway.
Right. So there was a story I wanted to do about Ghana tapping into the labor. Great. So tap into labor migration to boost revenue. World Bank consultant advises government. I mean, we are trooping out in drones anyway. So a management information system consultant to the World Bank, Nana Amwakubunti Asante, has urged the government to tap into the multi-billion labor migration industry to boost revenue from taxes. He said labor migration was one avenue that countries all over the world were making a lot of money from. Thus, the need for governments to make a conscious effort to explore and regulate labor migration of Ghanaians abroad to protect their rights and tap into the multi-billion industry. To achieve that, he said, the government must sign bilateral relation agreements with governments of other countries that required Ghanaian professionals. And he also said regulating migration would ensure citizens' rights to decent work, decent work, well-negotiated pay and shelter, as well as enable the government to rake in revenue from taxes paid by citizens. On the back page, this story I want to do, torrential rains cut off Nandom in Wa. So 3 days of torrential rainfall in the Upper West region has cut off Nandom from the regional capital, Wa. The rain has, it has cut off an entire community. So the Kamba River has overflown its banks as a result, making it risky to travel from Nandom to Laura. Likewise, trucks loaded with goods heading to neighboring locked countries have been compelled to park and wait for the water to subside before they can continue their journey. It's 2024, it's 59 days to elections, and we are still dealing with these issues. Doc, there are so many other stories in the Daily Graphic, but these three first for your quick reflections.
I think I will look at the labor migration and what we can derive from it.
Yeah.
And I'll tie it to something that I read when I was a level 300 student, the Africa and the Global System. Professor Ali Mazrui, the late professor of political science, wrote a book, and it was a lecture that was published by the BBC, the Rate Lecture. He churned out a book out of it titled The African Condition. And he came up with 6 paradoxes. Time will not permit us, so I'll touch on only one. Is that Africa is the richest, yet the poorest. All right? We are rich in natural resources. Look at a country like Ghana. Anywhere you dig, you are likely to find oil or mineral. And yet, we are poor.
Yet
and we see our people. Can you imagine that? You see our young people leaving the shores of Ghana to see greener pastures elsewhere. And even there is also economic value of it. We are not able to manage it. Come on. We need to rethink. all right? When I was a little boy at Ekropon, we had people who were teaching coming from India, Indian teachers, the Cuban teachers, and the rest of them, earning money for themselves, and their countries were also benefiting. Why can't you? So I support this call that yes, you cannot stop people from migration, but you can tap from that and then make the best out of it. That whatever conditions that you need to set for them and that country and then the people, you do that so that some will go, have experience, they come back and all that, so that it will not be deficit. Because look, sometimes the pain is that the state spend a lot of resources to train these people. And because you have no job, they leave the shores of Ghana and we don't recoup anything. Yeah. When I was the editor, I recall, I took notice of that and I wrote editorial about how government spend a lot of resources training people. And at the end of the day, they leave the shores of Ghana. The state doesn't get anything from it. And now this conversation is up. I support that. And let us make sure that the resources that we have, develop them and tap them and use them for the best of society. Look at Qatar. We are sitting here and, just, close our eyes to the fact that, look, the sea and others are taking over the town and then the whole area. Meanwhile, we can protect that. And then the salt industry there can be developed to the highest and make life better and all that. What are we doing? God has blessed us with all resources, white gold, which is salt, and then other minerals, and yet we are poor. Africa is the richest, yet the poorest.
Thank you, Doc. If there are no other reflections on the other stories, let's do Ben's papers.
Yeah, the Nandom story is a sorry story. That in this age and time, we have such natural occurrences hitting the town hard to the extent that it is cut off. It tells us that we have not done enough for our people and for ourselves, and that we need to look sharp and then double our effort to make sure that we bring everybody to speed. All of us contribute to the national kitty. So you don't expect one group to be hit like this. It tells you that infrastructure development and a whole lot of things are missing. Yes, I know I can concede that government has done its bit, but it's not enough. If you look at it from the point of view of money that we waste and use it for unnecessary things, such as cathedral that we can find, such as Palugu Dam that doesn't exist. We can channel this into the development of these people and let our people breathe a sigh of relief. After all, we are all part of this country and we own this country.
Okay. Benjamin.
Let's do the Daily Guide newspaper. 31 more protesters get bail. AG files trial papers. Good luck, Jonathan praises election security measures. We won't join anti-Galamsey strike. That's according to the GMA. GRA chair touts digitalization benefits. ABL unveils Nyinahin and Pasaso transformation plan. And I'll make up Wasi like Joburg, Kofi Annan says so. Sudan will surely fall. That's the back page. Sudan will surely fall, Otto Addo. I don't know what to make of this second coming of Otto Addo, really. I don't know what to make of it, but let me just leave it hanging there. Messi salutes retiring Iniesta. Jordan leads Stars against Sudan, and all set for Memory Lane PGA Championship. Andres Iniesta, of course, one of those Barcelona and Spain legends. And back in the day when he was doing his thing, amazing in there. But the Daily Guide newspaper, let me start with this one on page 3. We won't join anti-Galamsey strike. The Ghana Medical Association has stated that its members will not be joining the nationwide strike scheduled for October 10, called by organized labor to protest illegal mining activities, also known as Galamsey. According to the GMA, it has not declared a roadmap for industrial action despite its solidarity with organized labor in the fight against Galamsey. We all know the story. We all know how it goes and what has been said, and Dr. Abayate seeking the removal of the GMA president will leave the GMA to do what the GMA wants to do. 31 more protesters get bail. AG files trial papers. Another group of 31 persons arrested during the Democracy Hub demonstration against illegal mining were yesterday granted bail by a circuit court in Accra. They, together with 22 other persons, are standing trial for offences including unlawful assembly, assault on public officers, and unlawful damage. My only concern here, so Felicity Nelson, together with others, granted bail, yes, but the processes that must be taken from the court's end to the Ghana Police Service's end have not been concluded. And so they came out with that statement yesterday, pointing to some of these matters. Granted bail, but still incarcerated. That is exactly where they find themselves. And I feel more and more people are beginning to think it is just to show them, let them smell pepper. You know, you've been granted bail. Technically, it's a technicality, but you're still in the cooler and you're not getting out anytime soon. You see, when some of us talk about these things, people think, oh, you are not looking at their side. I've always said, those who went and vandalized banners and stuff, it is wrong. It is not right. I am not supporting those actions. I'm not supporting and using unapproved routes and blocking the road, creating a nuisance for the public. But not all of them were engaged in that. But some of them have these charges on them when they were not engaged in that. And you see, you can sit somewhere and be political with this and think, oh yeah, let them be there and all of that. Until say beto. Etoa. That is where you see that, oh, this doesn't feel good. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. And Let My Vote Count Alliance, some of the things that were done then were not right against demonstrators. If they were not right then, they are not right now. You see? But we did a country inside. Me, I like these things because then when in future someone also becomes a victim and you were touting, we'll go and bring you your receipt. Then you will know that, oh, what you said, now it's coming back to bite you. Let's go on the international front. Let me do this story about I'll make Obuasi like Joburg, Kofi Enin saying so. So an aspiring parliamentary candidate for Obuasi West, Kofi Enin, has made a bold promise to transform Obuasi into a thriving metropolis comparable to Johannesburg, South Africa's economic powerhouse. This vision, he said, would elevate Obuasi's status as a major mining city in Ghana. Speaking during his campaign launch at the weekend, Mr. Enin indicated that despite being Ghana's iconic mining hub, Obuasi surprisingly lags behind in development, a stark contrast to its rich gold mining heritage spanning over 120 years. Not just Obuasi, Takwa, and other places. Like I said, I always, when I listen to people speak like this, I take it with a grain of salt, especially coming from a member of parliament who technically is not, someone aspiring to be a member of parliament, who technically is not an agent of development. But what have we not heard? Accra, the cleanest city in Africa, and corruption, this and that. So I'm sorry, but me, every politician now, NDC or MPP, I take what they say with a grain of salt. That's how I see it. Doc, any reflections on this before I'll get into it?
I think I will start from where you ended. And that's what you just said, that any politician who speaks, you take it with a grain of salt. I support that because you and I are alive to the fact that politics sometimes goes with lies and deception. If you read Donovan and Co., their definition of politics. So any human being who is listening to any political message, have at the back of your mind that sometimes you can be deceived, you can be manipulated and all that. And that tells you that, look, sometimes you ask yourself, why do people want to promise things that they cannot deliver? More often than not, when you hear politicians, especially those aspiring to become members of parliament, they promise all manner of developmental programs. But you realize that the duty of an MP, strictly speaking, is not talking about development. You are talking about lawmaking and things associated with that. So why are you going to get road fixed in the place? Why are you going to get turn into Johannesburg and all that? Yes, if we're able to do that, fine. But remember, if you are not, it becomes a deception, and next time you'll be punished. So, but I don't blame our people because a lot of them do not know some of these things. So programs such as this will go a long way to arm them with knowledge so that when people come to them, they'll be able to pose the right question to them. Are you sure you'll be able to do ABC? Where are you going to get the money from? That all the necessary questions are posed to those people, and you are able to separate facts from propaganda and outright lies. I also touch on the issue of Otto Addo's issue. He's coming back to the Black Star and all that. I don't have a problem with this, but my concern is that we have tried a lot of coaches from outside this country, and even he being a Ghanaian who's outside this country doing applying his vocation. But it tells you that there's a missing link in this country. Why can't we begin to build capacity from home? Look at talents, sponsor them in and outside this country to get the best of knowledge and experience and come and handle our team so that we can have a succession plan. But what we are doing is a knee-jerk reaction, and always it brings all manner of problems. And the same thing extends to the Black Star. Sometimes you have to rely on the foreign players. I'm not saying that they are not good, they are. But we should also have a local team. People like Eto, they were built from the academy, they rose through the ranks and all. Yeah. I saw in the 90s, Abedi Pele and co, who were playing very competitive soccer here before he joined the Dragons of Benin, and then he moved to, France and the rest of it. So let us begin at home by tapping talents. I was a little boy, still back to the issue. They were playing district soccer competition, regional soccer competition, and national. Why have we abandoned all these things? These are processes that will enable you to tap into the talents that we have. Even the universities, the academic house, we have them who were playing very good soccer. These talents are sitting down here and we are not tapping them. Economists will tell you that if you have resources and you don't tap them, it becomes a waste resource.
Let me just blaze through these foreign stories and I'm done. Russia on mission to cause mayhem on UK streets warns MI5. You know, the British, they have MI5, MI6, and Russia's intelligence agency has been on a mission to generate sustained mayhem on British and European streets, the head of MI5 has said. You can catch more details of that story sourced from the BBC. Then Lebanon kidnapped by Hezbollah, says former Prime Minister. Lebanon has been kidnapped by Hezbollah, but the government isn't doing enough to distance itself from the group, says the country's former Prime Minister. If you listen to the Lebanese who speak, and I have quite a number of Lebanese friends, some of them say, Hezbollah is doing the right thing. Others say, no, Hezbollah, which became very powerful, I think since the 2000s, has kidnapped the country and is taking actions that are not in the interest of the country. So both sides to the discussion. EU to launch WTO challenge against China's brandy squeeze. They implemented an EV ban of sorts, and that has come with repercussions from China, and now the EU is protesting that at the WTO, the World Trade Organization. And German police smashed child sexual abuse site. All those stories in the Daily Guide newspaper. Sweetie?
Yes, let me also just blaze through the news center and the custodian. I want to start from here. The stories you read, in fact, we brought you that this morning from Business Update, the finance minister saying that we are recovering. But GSE has recorded 98.26% decline in trades amid 38.56% T-bill under subscription. What are we talking about? Ghana Stock Exchange. They're saying that investor interest in treasury bills fell significantly in the latest auction, with the government managing to raise only 3.67 billion Ghana cedis, far below the 5.98 billion target. And this led to a substantial 38.56% under-subscription rate. And despite this shortfall, all submitted bids for the 90-day, 182-day, and 364-day treasury bills were fully accepted. Where are the monies for us to be investing in treasury bills? And the interest rate is so wild these days, you can barely wrap your head around it. So just something for us to think on. And Ghana records 2 cases of Mpox. So as we speak now, 2, but no deaths recorded yet.
We so thank God for that there are no deaths.
Yeah, on the front page though, police recruitment exam set for Saturday. If you're interested, if you're in that category, well, take note of this. It's happening on Saturday. Northern region sees major progress in education, health, roads, and other infrastructure. Ghana Eyes Regional Tech Skills Hub and insurance brokers ensure best terms for insured free of charge. And there are some other stories here. You can pick a copy for yourself. That's the news center. But the custodian, we won't be part of labor strike. GMA has said. And we've got, I mean, Benjamin already reflected on that story, and Doc also did same. Zoomlight Nigeria is also here in the news for signing €40 million deal. Congratulations to them. Northern Region gets massive government projects. And these are just some stories on the Custodian newspaper. Digital Youth Hub ready in December, according to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and NPA boss honored at Africa Public Sector Awards. That's all that time will allow me to do. On the ABC, though, Ghana's economy recovering. Yeah, Virgin Atlantic Airlines. I saw that interview, and he said that part of the reason why they've returned to Ghana is because the economy is recovering. Doc, that's it from my side.
I will start with the T-bill recording under subscription.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, it's not surprising to see this because people have suffered haircut and the reality has dawned on people. So once beaten, it's not twice shy, forever shy. So people have taken political notice of it. But it tells you that when we're taking decisions, we need to be very careful because it has all manner of consequence and all that. How do you get people back? And that is the headache for them. It is in their court, those who manage the economy and all the financial instruments, to be able to wrap their hand around their minds and to be able to come out with something that will really ginger people to be able to get more revenue in that regard. It is their duty. They should be able to stand and then work for their salaries. Then issue of the Northern Region education progressing there. That is heartwarming. That I commend the government and all those stakeholders for the contribution they've made for us to achieve that results. It is my hope and prayer that such achievement can be extended to all nook and cranny of this country so that we can have equal quality education and make sure that we bring our people up to scratch. After all, we should have equal education and equal opportunity for everybody. That's the spirit behind liberalism. That is linked with capitalism.
Thank you so much, Doc. Benjamin, we have
so we're going to 7:20, so we still have some time to play with. The Ghanaian publisher newspaper, Jospon Group signs €40 million deal with German entity, and GMA snubs anti-Galamsey strike. Northern Region witnesses major strides in education, health, and agriculture. And I believe you've already spoken about that Jospon Group story, and we've also delved into the GMA's backing out of this strike. We never promised to provide register within a week. That's according to the EC. Well, every week, different story and different wahala. But let's get into that story on page 3. So it says, the Electoral Commission has clarified claims by the NDC regarding the timeline for the release of the revised Provisional Voters Register ahead of the 2024 general elections. The EC in a statement clarified that the Commission had never committed to providing the updated register within a week of the Inter-Party Advisory Committee's meeting, contrary to the NDC's assertion. Quote, the chairperson of the EC indicated during the televised IPAC meeting that the Commission would provide the political parties with a revised PVR and upload it online within 2 weeks or earlier. Nowhere in her statement did the chairperson indicate that the revised PVR would be made available within a week, the statement said. It's been over a week since that came to bear, right? So let's wait and see within a fortnight what will happen as far as that is concerned. Sanitation Minister slams politicization of Galamsey. You know one interesting thing, Sweetie and Doc, I've been hearing people say things like, and again, this is something I am, keeping to my chest for my blunt thoughts. People talking about, but we don't do Galamsey in Accra. We don't do Galamsey in Accra. But the political will needed to deal with Galamsey starts from here in Accra. And in any case, the plantain, the cassava, the yam that you are consuming in Accra, guess where they come from? So let's keep playing the ostrich. It will catch up with us nicely. Doc, any reflections?
Yeah, I'll start from where you ended. If you think that you are far away from the action spot, then you are deceiving yourself. Because There are a whole lot of complex systems that we live in that at each point in time, part of our system rub off with the system and have effect on us. That is what in podcast we call a systems theory. System. There is a system. And any part you touch, it has effect on all the other side. Imagine, imagine you don't have even Galamsey in Accra. Nothing happens here. Are you happy that people are dying in Galamsey sites and other places? Is that what we are looking at? We give our mandate to government to protect our lives and our property so that we can render obedience to the state. So if the state is, shying away from that responsibility, we have every right to what? Question the state, because we don't want to go back to the state of nature where life, you and I don't want to be there. And that is why people like us, when we are talking the way we talk, because government has the power to do what it's supposed to do. The regulatory capacity of the state must be enforced, that you make rules and you enforce them. If you can't do that, then look, it takes us to a failed state. But I don't want to believe my state want to get there as a failed state. No. So whatever it is possible, we will make sure that the government will force the government to do it using the rules of the game. That's it.
Other stories?
Yeah, I want to just bring this to light. The Ghana Health Service has launched a 5-year national plan.
You're going back to the daily graphic.
The daily graphic, yes. I thought it was important, but time. I was rushing through it. The Ghana Health Service has launched a 5-year national plan to guide the country's response to any vaccine preventable disease outbreak, dubbed Mass Vaccination Plan for VPD Outbreaks. The initiative, which is the country's first general plan for mass immunization outbreaks of VPDs, aims to reduce morbidity, mortality, and disability associated with VPDs through the provision of high-quality immunization services during outbreaks. And it would also improve the coverage of immunization services and timeliness of a national response to these outbreaks. And I think it's a step in the right direction. And for the first time, if we are going to be doing this, we might actually be saving lives. Doc, I don't know what you think about that.
Yes, I think during the COVID time or beyond that time, a committee was put together headed by a professor from Gov't to think about whether we can develop vaccines and all that, because we've seen examples from Vietnam and all that. That is a hub of vaccines, and they are making a lot of inroads in that area. So it gladdens my heart when I hear news like that. But my prayer is that we will walk the talk and support that body which is supposed to actualize this dream by giving it the necessary resources. Sometimes we say these things and only to to throw some few CDs to the committee to work, and they cannot work with this. If we're damn serious about this, then we must commit ourselves by putting in resources to be able to do this and stop the unnecessary usage of state resources for things that we do not need. And that if we are able to do this, I'm sure we'll be home and dry. Okay.
That's all from my end, Benjamin. So,
well, let me get into the Accra Times now. Free the citizens, Arthur Kennedy to government, Dr. Arthur Kennedy. Ashimore vows to secure more seats for NDC as he aims to increase the seats to 25. Mahama pledges to restore Ghana. Next NDC government will put Ghana back on her feet. Nalerigu gets 400-ton waste recycling facility, and Zaneto weeps over Galamsey menace. The Accra Times, it appears all your stories are NDC-related stories. That's an interesting one. Anyway, there are other papers that do say, but I think maybe you could have reflected more. There are other stories from other ends. Where do I even start? Let me look for stories that are less political. Okay, I'll start with Arthur Kennedy, yeah? So the Galamsey problem has finally reached crisis level. The security forces and politicized, our politicized, weaponized judiciary of the president, who pledged to put his presidency on the line to fight Galamsey, are collaborating to silence citizens who are actually fighting Galamsey. The over 50 activists facing prosecution are the wrong defendants. They followed the rules in organizing protests. They are on the side of the people. History is on their side. Well, in terms of, there's a little technicality in terms of their following the rules, because there were some unapproved routes they used. I always want to be fair and balanced on these matters. And he says, and God is true, and so is the Constitution. Article 41K requires citizens to protect and safeguard the environment. How can the police ignore those who are obliterating our forests and turning our rivers into Milo and cocoa drinks and arrest the patriotic protesters? It goes on and on. That's a piece that recently he put out. And to a large extent, I agree with him. How can you be those who are protesting, even if their actions in a way are not the very best? There are now, but you want to treat them like this when those perpetrating the acts, you know them. Some of you are beneficiaries in government, but you want to keep mum. Well, like I said, we can all pretend, but the day the ravages hit home, they'll hit all of us. No one will be spared. Even those abroad who think they are being spared. You know, a lady was mentioning that she eats yam, from Ghana. She's Ghanaian. She's abroad. And the yam is the same one from here. So even those abroad are getting affected when you go to the African markets and all of that. So everybody will get his or her share. Yeah, to say, oh, maybe I had me free party way. No problem. Eba, it go reach everybody. And there's also Mahama pledges to restore Ghana. I think some of these stories we've already got into. I'll just do the headlines here and we're done. The Daily Searchlight, Election 2024, a Mahama victory would amount to a constitutional coup. That's on page 2. And Birim Central MCE refutes allegations. Allen's running mate shakes Central region with plans for fishing sector. I'm just interested in who is writing this bit about a Mahama victory would amount to a constitutional coup. I don't even see the name here, but anyway, that is the story. Okay,
so we do have to go now, but some dedications coming in and going out to Mr. Ken Trinibua Kodia, the Vice Chairman of TUC, coming from our producer. Happy birthday to you, sir. May God bless you. And this is a belated birthday message because the birthday was actually yesterday. Thank you so much for joining us for News Review, Dr. Kwame Asah Asante. And
welcome.
Yeah. Coming up next is sports.
I wish you a good day.
Thank you, Doc.
I wish you the same, Doc.
Gov't Nabila Abdullah is standing by to serve you sports.